Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 18. Eventually, there's been so much going on in the last 2 months, and every time I would think to myself, okay, I'll just wait until this job is done before I start the videoing or stop the videoing or have the cut off for the next episode. Something would happen that it would delay. John would need to go gardening, or I was ill, or I would need to work, and then we'd get that one thing done, and then I'd think, oh, let's just wait until the next thing is done, and the same happened, and it just going on and on and on, and I had to draw the line somewhere, because as much as I would love to say to you the kitchen is finished, it's not. But it's so close, and part of me wanted to hang on until it was finished before I did this video, or before I released this video, but it's been 2 months since I last released a video, so So sit tight. This is a long one. It is, I think, roughly about 40 minutes long. So grab a cuppa, have a glass of something nice, and hang around and see what you think. There has been a lot that has happened in the kitchen since I last released a video. John has installed the kitchen lights. We've installed the kitchen window frame. We've sealed the ceiling, insulated the ceiling, installed the metalwork, sealed the metalwork, plastered the metalwork twice, and then sanded it, and then plasterboarded and plastered the walls that needed the plasterboard. And then we've installed an island, and we've installed a couple of units. It doesn't sound like a lot in 2 months, but the ceiling, I think, took John like a month and a half. It was insane. It was just so much work, and very, very, very dusty work, you'll see. So we're going to launch into that, and then I will explain a little bit more about what happened. It did a good job, that installation. Alright, plastic is off. Do you need to wear a mask, my love?
Not for this, not much. We'll do around stuffing the ceiling, so I'm manoeuvring it a lot. Just open up. Oh, I feel that air coming in
Yeah.
now.
There's the makeshift plastic window outside to stop all the rain coming in.
Yep, there we go.
Ooh, 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 we're gonna have a view out there. Have they used the big nails, haven't they? Yes, under the...
Yeah.
Yeah. Just mind your head when that thing falls. Should I stop recording and help you?
Oh, alright. It's going to take a minute to get it to budge, because it was well and truly put in.
Okay, slight break because I didn't want John to be hammering the wood and then it to fall on his head whilst I was recording. So the post is out now. That is very exciting. I don't know if you can actually see from the video. I don't know if you can actually see from the video how much light is coming in. Let me step further back.
It's making a fair bit.
Yeah, there you can see it. Further back.
There's still some darkness, but
That's very cool. Very exciting. We are about to remove the plastic that is covering the window on the outside, which will now allow the full extent of the light to come through. So I'm just waiting for John to walk around the back and then I shall continue filming. Jabari's waiting to see as well. There he is. I can see you, I can see you.
are you ready for this?
I am indeed. This will be the first window looking out this direction on this level. We've never had a view out to the back from the kitchen before, so this is very exciting.
All right.
Yes, we're ready. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's all of a sudden gone very green.
Hey?
It's all of a sudden gone very green. Oh, Jabari's coming. Jabari, not there, not there. Hang on. Jabari got a wet paw. You've got a wet paw, boy. You're gonna sit there now. It looks amazing.
Is it?
Yes, it looks very green. Make sure I cut that bit out.
And the gun is easier to do this with. Because it's a trigger and not a press whilst you're working up.
So as you know, we drove down to Toulouse, about an hour and a half away, to speak to the kitchen designer guy and put in the order for all the kitchen bits and pieces. And you may have seen the last episode of me standing with that very, 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 very long till slip. It looked like a lot, but when you buy all the bits for the kitchen, it's absolutely everything. It's the hinges, the screws, the shelves, you know, the back. Oh, there was just so many things. And on the day that the IKEA guy came, he called us up to say he was very sorry, but his colleague was off sick. So we might have to help him unload the van. And I was expecting a lorry, because you kind of think, I saw the till slip. It was so long and there's so many units, but actually he came in a long wheel-based transit van, if you like. Electric vehicles, IKEA, all their delivery vehicles are electric now, so that was weird. But anyway, and we just unloaded and unloaded and unloaded, and there was just boxes and boxes and boxes, and you'll see now how much stuff there was. I mean, we had the checklist, we had our order list, we had the delivery note, and I was frantically trying to check things off on a, walking around the clipboard, but it all happened so quickly, and in the end, I just had to stop, because we were running out of space. There was just stuff. It was absolute mayhem. So check it out now, and I'll see what you think. It was crazy. Well, that was mayhem. I didn't even video the van arriving. But the stuff is all here, we think. I've gone through with the clipboard and we've got a few discrepancies, but we're going to have to check those now. It's just kitchen stuff everywhere. Everywhere. And then you go in here, and there's all the little bits and bags. Bits and bags. More stuff there. More stuff there. More stuff there. And there. So we're going to do a second check now and confirm what we've already ticked off. But they are very good with replacements and missing things. So we shall keep you posted. We've just rearranged the furniture so that we can get an idea of the layout of our new kitchen. So everything along this wall is roughly the width of the units that will be here, the fridge that will be here, and a dresser which will be there. We've used these two chairs here to mark where the island will be so that we can judge how much room we've got to walk around. And then obviously we've still got all our odd units over there to show what that side will look like. You can see John's drawn an outline there of where the cooker hood and everything's going to be. So I'm just going to walk around. If I go to this corner, window, you can see there's plenty walking space between where this cupboard will be here and the island. And there's plenty of walking space here. The sink will be here, so it'll be nice to have the island, or the sink and worktops will be here. It'll be nice to have the island behind. And then just to the right of the cooker there will be a cupboard where that line is there to there. So the wood burner, not this one, another one, will be in the corner. So there's plenty space here to walk. Plenty space behind the kitchen table. And then if we stand this side and look, we can see there will be a cupboard here coming out to roughly the same width as that. So there's plenty space to walk through there. And that's where the kitchen table will be. So it's actually a really good layout. And the whole point of us doing this was so that John was able to know where to install the lights, because we've installed the lights above the island, but we knew exactly where the island was going to be, but we weren't quite sure yet where the table was going to be. So that's what this little gadget is for here. I made the center mark on the table and then lined up the little laser, and then it makes a little dot on the ceiling there. Zoop. So we know that's where the lights have to go. So, very exciting. So when we had unpacked and sorted out all the bits and pieces that IKEA had delivered, and we'd put all the worktops in the workshop rather than in the house, and we went out one day to unpack a piece so that we could hold it up against a unit to see what it looked like, and we discovered they were the wrong worktops. The ones we'd ordered were grey beige, and I don't know if there'd been a miscommunication or he'd misheard, but he'd put down grey. So they were like a marble grey color. And I know someone said, well, can't you just use those? And they just didn't have the same nice matching look as the ones we'd ordered. And I remember just thinking, ah, crap. And we had to take them back. So that was a bummer. However, when we bought the kitchen, I'll be transparent. It was, I don't know, 7,800 euros and some change. And IKEA were having a special at the time that if you were an IKEA family member, so if you had the little loyalty card, you would get a 10% voucher. Now, I remember at the time when we put in the order, and I remember thinking, 10%, I mean, it's not very much. But that's because I'm used to, you know, when you go shopping, you order small quantities of stuff. And when we kind of sat down and realized, oh my God, we have a voucher for 759 euros. 759 euros. So we thought, okay, well, let's go back. We'll take the worktops back and we'll go spend the voucher. And we went through the house and we made a long list of all the things that we would need that were just treats, really. I mean, it's like someone had just given us 760 euros, and what do you spend it on? It was so exciting. And we made a list of all sorts of things, and we came back with so much stuff. We came back with a complete new set of crockery, with cushions, waste paper basket, you know, new doormats, you know, new containers for all the coffees and teas and stuff, all complete new storage system for the pantry. There was just so much. But we found that we couldn't actually spend all of that money on all the little things that we made the list from. So what we ended up doing is we ended up buying all the bookshelves for the library downstairs, because that's the next room we're going to be doing. So actually, I think we ended up spending, I don't know, 300 and something on all the little bits and pieces, but 400 and something went on all the good box standard IKEA Billy bookshelves for downstairs in the library. So we joke and we say literally we bought a kitchen and we got a library free. so stand by and you'll see some of the bits. So once all the excitement of all the shopping was over and we had to knuckle down and get started on some work, John had to build the island first, because we wanted 2 wooden pillars that stood on either end of the island to go into the ceiling. And he wanted those to go into the ceiling so he could fit the ceiling around those beams. So we had to do that first. So it was kind of exciting that we got to build a unit and some nice drawers and populate all the drawers before John then started the month and something long process of getting all the ceiling sealed and everything. So yeah, that was fun.
I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this time to shake me out again.
And once the island unit was built and it was approved by the cats, John started on the ceiling, and that was a long, monotonous process. He was up and down that ladder who knows how many times every single day. There were so many different things he had to do: the insulation, the metalwork, the ceiling of the ceiling of the ceiling, the plasterwork. It was just, and then there was the painting afterwards as well. There was just so much work and so much dust. The barn has achieved another milestone this week. John has been working this week to seal the ceiling. I will display some pictures to remind you of what the ceiling looked like before, because all the electric cables and the internet cables as well, my love, all the Ethernet cables for our internet connection, everything comes through this ceiling on its way to the consumer unit in the utility room. So that's why this was the very last thing that could be completed. We had to make sure that all the wiring was done, which it now is. So actually that's another milestone. And John's just this week finished putting the metalwork up on the ceiling. The sound in here is very different. It sounds muffled, kind of dead, rather than, it wasn't exactly echoey, but it had a different acoustic sound to it. So today he is starting to seal the metalwork. So he has a bucket of what we call gunk. It is on the floor. It's got the consistency of plaster, but it's a special stuff that he uses to seal the metalwork. And when that's all finished, then he will start plastering the ceiling. So it's very exciting. So once all of that palaver was finished and all the dust craziness was finished and we vacuumed and mopped 20 gazillion times to get all the dust up, eventually all the relevant bits were plastered, and John went round and neatened all the edges like he does, and we made the final preparation ready for painting. It was so exciting because that room had been really dirty not dirty but dusty for a very long time, and it was nice to finally just get it clean. I mean, it is a hard working room, you know. We come through there, the cats come through there. It's a hard working room, but whew, it was challenging. Anyway, almost time for the painting now. So today is another milestone as we start the final finishing touches to the plaster before we paint. So everything is covered as well as we can, and John's going to sand the plaster to give it a nice smooth finish and make sure that it's a nice surface for painting. And if all goes well, today's Wednesday, we shall be painting next week. Fingers crossed.
I don't know if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this torsion, and everything is growing out tight.
So today is Sunday the 18th of April. And I'm just going to give you a quick update of where we are with the kitchen. The last few weeks have been very long and drawn out and seemingly not much progress to show, but there has been an awful lot going on. It's very I don't know if you can hear, it's very echoey in here. We've emptied out a lot of the furniture because there's been a lot of dust. Really a lot of dust. So where we are, the ceiling is now sealed. It took John a very long time. Insulation had to go in, then the metal work over the top of that. Then he had to work on sealing the metalwork with a plaster-like substance. On top of that, he then had to put plaster. And then he had to go around and neaten all the edges so that we have nice clean edges like that. And do lots of touch-ups. As you know, we've installed the lights as well. And the last week he has spent 3 days sanding down the plaster so that it has this nice, really smooth finish, so that it is ready for painting. And this week we will start the painting. It's very strange. It's so empty in here currently. It's going to be lovely to start the painting, because now the finishing touches will really start happening. So the next video should really show some paint on the walls. We're going for magnolia, which, if you don't live in the UK, is sort of a very light cream color. It's the color of the walls in the living room, and white on the ceiling. A lot of the walls in here will actually be covered anyway, so but that is where we're at. And fingers crossed, if we finish the painting this week, that means that the following week we can start building the units. The fridge will move from where it is now to up against that beam there, dunk. And there will be a unit going in at the bottom there with some shelves. That bureau will be moving out, and there will be a unit there with a wall unit at the top, and then a floor and a wall unit there in the corner, and then a stretch along there with the sink. The cooker is shifting over only slightly to meet that line there, and the cooker splashback will go there, and then the cooker hood. At some point, the other wood burner that we've got in storage will be installed in the corner, and this little one will come out. And then over there, we will have a floor unit and a top unit, and then of course there's the lovely splashbacks going in. And then the table will move from where it is to let me just get around here so you can see. It will move to underneath the lights. So it's going to shift out to there, because obviously you can't have that, because then you can't get around the island. So the table will shift out in there. We're leaving it open because we're in and out of here, because I'll let you see through. Everything's all in there. It's just, oh, there's the lights a bit, there we go, the lights a bit bad, but everything's in the library. So that is where we're at. So fingers crossed, we are almost there.
I don't know if I can find my way out. I'm stuck in a prison of doubt. In this tiny shell, and everything is growing up tight. There's no room to breathe. And nobody is watching at night. The water rises. Need a friend to shake me out again. Need a friend to shake me out again. I don't know if I can find my way out. In this tiny shell, and everything is growing up tight. There's no room to breathe. Fall into the ocean. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching out. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. It's coming. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching out. The water is rising over me. The water is rising. I'm reaching. It's coming. I'm reaching. The water is rising over me. I'm reaching out, I'm reaching.
So that is the end of the kitchen as it stands at the moment. There's a little bit more that's happened since that last photo, but that's kind of where we're up to at the moment, and we are the 9th of May. I know I said this last time, but I'm going to do my absolute best to produce a video quicker. Maybe I'll just be a little bit more disciplined about when I have the cutoff. Otherwise it drags on too much. But I firmly believe that the next video, which will be at the end of this month, we will have a completed kitchen. Dare I say that? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
our river has raised its banks. I'm just going to walk across and see whether I see grass. Scratch. Absolutely raging torrent. And just to think, this completely dries up in the summer. We're having a lot of rain. Flooded all the way down the bottom of the garden. We're not that worried because we have rearranged this whole garden to allow it to do this naturally, because you can't fight against something like this. You'll see this is all flooded here, and when we get to Shady Oaks, it's like we've got our own swimming pool. We've got our own swimming pool. The cats are not impressed. You can actually see far in the distance there as well. It's all flooded back there. little Nala coming for a walk with me.
So that's it for episode 18. I did warn you it was a long one. So I hope that you've liked everything you've seen, and it's been an exciting journey for you to see it kind of all coming together. And I'm really looking forward to doing the video at the end of this month, where fingers crossed I can do maybe a complete video on the kitchen, just so that you can see how nice it all looks. I also had an idea of doing something new. I thought maybe I would bring in a Q&A for each episode. I know we post on many different social media platforms, and quite often people comment on the post and they ask a question, and someone will ask a question on Facebook, someone will answer a question on YouTube. And I thought maybe we could bring it into the actual video. So at the end of each video, I will do my best, or we'll do our best, to answer any questions that you guys have. So if you do have any questions about absolutely anything, about the cats, the garden, the veg patch, the renovation, how we're doing it, what the plans are, anything, just comment on the video, and then what I'll do is, in the next video, at the end of the video, I will answer that question as part of the video, and that way everybody can see the questions and answers, instead of only on those specific social media platforms. So I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. If there aren't any questions, fine. But if there are, it'll be one place where I answer them all. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and sorry it took so long. And fingers crossed, I will see you at the end of May. Look after yourselves. Bye.